Chelsea, Beth, and we've got DW Doucet here with us today.
Hey folks!
And we're drinking some coffee that I bought from the Mountain Ave Co-op, and it's Choice City Blend by Cafe Richie's. And yeah, how's it tasting?
It's pretty good. It's not as good as my favorite, which is gas station coffee. The dirty stuff. Like bad, good stuff.
Whenever I think about gas station coffee, it always makes me think about road trips. That's always like my go-to when I'm on road trips, and I don't think I drink gas station coffee any other time.
Yeah, I drink it all the time.
Yeah.
It's my go-to. For my health.
It's your default, yeah, for your health.
But yeah, it does remind me of the road, and gas stations in general. There's definitely like a romance about them that I enjoy. Been spending a lot of hours and days on the road that you sort of find the glamour and I guess like the boring things that can happen on the road, which is just driving or gas stations or.
You've been on the road for hours, and it's like finally I can just get out and get a cup of coffee and reset for a second.
Yeah.
Have you done a lot of traveling?
I have throughout my years. Not as much as I wanted to. I went on tour last year. Went through, did about 6,000 miles across the country. So I started here and I went all the way up to Maine, and then back through. Like Indiana, Illinois, and then eventually Nebraska, Wyoming, Colorado. And it was nice, it was great. It was all by myself. I had the entire back seat filled with PA system, my guitars, my chains, my anvils and whatnot. So I slept a lot on the road. That was nice.
In your car?
Yeah.
In your truck?
In the front seat.
You drive a Jeep, right?
It was my buddy William Knudsen, who plays with the Ugly Architect. He lent me his car for the entire road trip.
Whoa.
Yeah. He was a nice guy.
Miles. Yeah. That's good. That's a generous loan.
Yeah, he's a good friend. He's a good friend.
Awesome. You need those sometimes, I think, especially when you're trying to make it. You mentioned that, you've done music as a main source of income, been playing for a living, and I don't know, what was that like for you to kind of take that risk and jump into doing it full time?
I've been working so hard for, up to this point in my life. I started working when I was 14, in high school, and started, that work ethic pretty early on. But then from there on in, that's when I was living in Los Angeles, and I graduated college, and I was interning at Warner Brothers Records, and I was kind of toying with the idea of sticking around and working for them, but just the whole Los Angeles scene, and I grew up there, and I got kind of tired of the lifestyle, and I wanted to move away and just start writing songs. I couldn't write. I was playing in punk bands up until I was maybe 23.
Oh, I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, and I could never write a punk song. Something about it, just not my deal. So I wanted to take a stab at moving somewhere where I didn't know anybody and just kind of focus in on music. And so I moved to Boston. It was going to be New York, and then 2 weeks before I moved to New York, I decided to move to Boston instead. So got out there, got a job at a grocery store, and just came home, started writing songs, and I did that for years. Because it took me quite some time to find my voice and to find my my distinction and how I wanted to express, and it's been a slow ride, but I think I eventually found it. He is, songwriting, I think, is not being afraid of essentially the infinite of your imagination, and that's where I try and go. I try not to limit myself.
I can.
And that's kind of what I do as a one-man band, is I try and show something that, you know, no one's seen before. And I think that's the real joy about art and about life, is having someone experience something that they thought, oh, I've never seen that before. What is that? Like, that's the coolest thing about humanity. And I think that's what art does for you know, for the human race, is you know, essentially shows, you know, the creative imagination that the human mind can go so far to create something that, you know, it's infinite. Like, and so that's what I'm trying to do with my live performance.
Did you find for yourself personally, when you set out to do this, were there any obstacles for you in like putting yourself out there, or like, you know, like I'm kind of curious about the vulnerable pieces around that, like, because it's hard for a lot of people to do what you're doing.
It is terrifying, because the thing is, you have to come to grips, you know, like when you're playing and you're watching the faces in the crowd and they're like in the moment, and sometimes you see people kind of look at you and they just like, I'm not really going to pay attention. You're like, oh,
and you can see it.
So they don't like me, that's fine.
Yeah.
But then you know, you go around, you see, you know, someone else like, oh, they're enjoying it. And that's the awful truth about, you know, being an artist, is that not everyone's going to like what you do. And it's a long road to kind of get over that. It you know, it stabs you every time that like, yeah, they don't enjoy what I'm doing. Oh, but I've put in so many years, I've put so much heartache and energy into this, and
even in the moment, like I'm out here like giving all of myself.
Yeah, so it gets better over time. I've certainly, you know, come to grips, you know, to the truth of, you know, not everyone's gonna like it. So.
Do you think when you were a kid, would you have seen yourself as being a performer?
Yeah. Yeah. So, pardon my pause. When I was a kid, yeah, I had you know, disability. I stuttered pretty bad, and I had you know, hard time sort of communicating with other kids when I was in, you know, elementary school into middle school. So I kind of got into doing or creating characters, doing accents, because the thing is, as a stutterer, speaking in your normal voice, you won't, or that's when you do stutter. But if you sing or you do an accent, you can kind of, you know, you won't stutter anymore, essentially. It kind of erases itself. So I would put on performances in the sandbox. I would, you know, I was super into, you know, Jim Carrey, so I would create these, just create these outrageous characters where I'm essentially just, you know, yelling and screaming, and because otherwise, you know, I could not really communicate, and that's kind of how I weaved myself into like being a social person. I was doing, you know, things like that, but I wasn't sure if it was going to be acting or, you know, comedy or music. And music is just one of those things, just abruptly came into my life, and that's when I decided that was it. So
you overcame a lot to be where you are, to be who you are today.
I found the way to sort of lessen the pain of, you know, growing up with a disability and like not being able to communicate with people, and, you know, so that was music. And
it's a really beautiful thing.
Yeah, I you know, and like, I mean, you know, you're listening to me now, I'm talking, but I used to not be able to do this so well. You know,
things we take for granted.
You know, when I was younger and I would you know, introduce myself to people, I would stutter for 15 seconds on my name. You know, like people, you know, you're making the rounds, be like, oh yeah, this is, oh hey, what's your name? Oh, my name's it would go on for 10-15 seconds, and eventually I would like sort of just stomp my foot, Devin!
And now you're doing it all
But
the
you
time.
Yeah, exactly. And I still do it from time to time, but you know, the thing is, the look on people's faces where they're just like, what the hell is going on with this guy? What is happening? This is chaos. This is chaos. You know, and you know, people, you know, being afraid of something that is different, or, you know, something that's out of the ordinary. And that's life, but you know, it was sort of my idea to embrace it, and I kind of got, you know, interested, you know, over the years into how people would react, you know, and people would make jokes, oh, you forgot your name, ha 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 ha, and I would laugh along with them. But then eventually I started being like, oh no, actually I have a disability, I have a stutter, and oh boy, they would feel bad. Most of the time they'd feel bad.
Yeah.
You know, some people just, you know, just scoff, oh, okay. But
what was that like for you to be like sharing that with people?
you know, just living your truth, you know, just kind of, you know, just, you know, opening yourself, you know, wide open, you know, just letting yourself out there. And it felt good, you know, but man, it's such an ordinary thing to go out there and, you know, introduce yourself to people, and it was hell for years and years and years for me to, you know, just kind of, you know, open myself up, you know, to the world, really.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about the song you want to play? We kind of started general and get more specific, but I want to make sure you get an opportunity.
Yeah, I know we were supposed to start with talking about the song, but that's the way conversations go, is they just start and they flow. It's beautiful. Yeah, the song I'm going to be singing is called Grandpa. It's essentially about my grandfather, Doucet.
What a great name.
Yeah, he died when I was maybe 4 or 5, but I remember him very well. I used to comb his bald head with you know, with a hairbrush every morning. You know, so I spent a lot of time in Cape Breton Island, which is kind of off to the far east, like past Maine. It's in Canada. That's where my dad grew up, and so I'd, you know, spend my summers there as a kid, and I remember, yeah, you know, combing his, you know, bald head, and every morning I'd do that, and one morning he wasn't there, and I was like, you know, where is he? And I went to my grandma, Beatrice, you know, and she said, I was like, oh, where's Grandpa? She said, oh, he's out drinking in the outhouse again. And so he used to go in the outhouse and drink, and you know, grab his coffee and, you know, pour some whiskey, and he'd go and, you know, hang out in there for a couple hours. And I never thought I was.
Cool person.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. I mean, I didn't know him very well, obviously, but you know, everything that you know, my dad says about him, yeah, he's, you know, a very interesting character, and that's one, you know, aspect of, you know, who he was, is, you know, just drinking in the outhouse. So yeah, I kind of wrote this song about him, and sort of about, you know, about Cape Breton Island a little bit, you know, my experiences there, and yeah, the chorus kind of goes about screaming songs in the rain, swimming in the St. Lawrence, and the St. Lawrence is the Gulf of St. Lawrence is off of Cape Breton Island, and I used to watch these old movies when I was a kid of me and my sister screaming in the rain, and then, you know, of us swimming in the St. Lawrence, and then, so it's kind of like my ode to, you know, like my time out there in Cape Breton Island, and it's sort of like a love story, you know, about him and, you know, and Beatrice, and so.
I feel like I can imagine it in my mind too. Like you're evoking a feeling just the way you're describing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I could go deeper, but should I just should I
you want
just
to
sing?
play it? Yeah.
I'll sing the
do
damn
it.
song. Yeah.
Sing the damn song.
This one's called Grandpa. Whiskey in my coffee,
feel like myself again. And old pictures of you by the unplugged phone. Would I finally see them after all these years? I left home to find my youth, and I only found you. Watch the midnight ships roll in, cigarettes on the harbor light. You said I'd take my time, so I took my time. Screaming songs in the rain, swimming in the St. Lawrence. Grandpa's drinking in the outhouse again. He's just thinking of the one he loved so long ago. I've been haunting this dive, and I've been dancing to no music, and spending time with a bottle you'd like. And I've been flashing every stranger your smile. And I found some new truth here where you lost your youth. And stumbling every mile, I've been roaming for some time. And I'm retracing your steps and feel like myself again. Screaming songs in the rain, swimming in the St. Lawrence. Grandpa's drinking in the outhouse again. He's just thinking of the one he loved so long ago. I've been screaming songs in the rain. I've been swimming in the St. Lawrence. And I'll be drinking in the outhouse one day. So I can think of the one I loved so long ago. Grandpa.
That was lovely.
Thank you.
Brought tears to my eyes.
Oh no.
Oh no. No, but I think I could see your past self, and then you kind of talk at the end about your future self. Maybe I'm going to be this person, and I just thought that brought it really full circle. It was so cool to hear that story.
Yeah. The middle was about me there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Drinking a little too much.
Thanks, Devin, DW
Yeah.
for being on Music
Thanks for
and
having me.
Coffee. Yeah.
Thanks for the caffeine.
Yeah, thanks for opening up and just sharing your story.
Yeah. Thank you, Chelsea. And I got a show, so I'm leaving town. I have a goodbye show at the Downtown Artery, August 17th. So I hope you guys can make it.
It's not going to be a dry eye there, I can guarantee you that. Thanks for watching, and
Thanks, folks.